Welcome back, gentlemen. Yeah, I just want to quickly preface this video by saying I do have some talking points here on my desktop. So if you see me glancing over, that is what I'm looking at, all right? This video is not scripted. I don't really script my videos. I quite rarely have talking points in the first place. I oftentimes like to talk off the dome, just straight, straight brainwave and just brainstorming for some of my videos. Anyway, moving on swiftly. So this video, the title of this video will be something along the lines of humbling yourself, in that there's just so much to learn, because there is. Okay, I believe that a lot of people become so strong-headed in whatever goes on in their minds, whatever thought processes they go through, and in terms of what they believe is right, how they believe they should live their lives, things in terms of knowledge and what they can learn. They're oftentimes they develop mindsets that actually close themselves off from growth and stuff like that. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, because I know there's someone out there who could benefit from my message. Okay, I know there's someone out there that can help just from speaking to you just like this, face to face, right? I mean, if you're one of them, I suggest you stick around, like the video, subscribe, and you won't miss out on messages like these in future. So number one, success can quietly turn into a ceiling. Very true. Early wins feel validating, but they can silently cap your growth. The moment you think you've figured it out, learning slows. Like I mentioned, right? Mastery isn't reached when results appear. It's when curiosity stays alive. That's very true. If you're not humble, if you're strong-headed in your personality, what happens is you'll find you kind of are your own roadblock. You understand? You are your own friction before friction even appears in your business, before things even go wrong. You're already in a battle with yourself. You understand? And what this can do is it can cause you to be closed off to growth, to experiences, to lessons that you should be learning. Sometimes because you're so strong-headed, okay, and that's the word I'm going to use quite often in this video, it causes you to be blind to a lot of the situations you go through. Areas where really you should be learning, you're not using them as lessons. You're using them as ways to, output a lot of your emotion. Oh, this happened because of this. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't my fault because I know this. I've seen this before. And, you're pointing fingers. You already know how I feel about pointing fingers. Wanting to blame something else for a reason why you didn't get the outcome that you wanted. You already know how I feel about that. But anyway, moving on. Number two, humility is a strategic advantage, not weakness. Humbling yourself doesn't mean lowering standards. It means accepting you're still a student, regardless of status. The most dangerous mindset isn't failure, it's comfort. Okay, that third one was a little bit different from the others. But yes, indeed, humbling yourself does not mean lowering your standards. Humbling yourself is the term of being humble, right? Believe it or not, I actually don't believe in humility. Right? I don't believe in humility in the sense of just how the average person and people in general talk about being humble. I don't believe in being humble at all. Okay? When I think of being humble, I think of someone who has done great things, has done things worth, of value, things that are of merit, things that a lot of people don't manage to do in their own lives. But because so many people live such sheltered and shit lives, so many people live such mediocre lives where they don't accomplish anything, whenever they see someone who has actually done things of substance, it shines a bright big torch on themselves, and they feel inadequate. It exposes their weaknesses. It exposes how lazy some of these people are, lazy, to of lack of better word, right? And it makes them feel a sort of way emotionally. So society have developed this word called humility, that they want to push onto successful people or people who have done a lot of good things to sort of make the rest of the society feel better about their mediocrity. All right? I don't believe in that. I believe if you've done good things, you should show that off to the world, and you should boast and brag and say, yes, I did that shit, and stand on that shit. You understand what I mean? Own it wholeheartedly. Let it become part of you as a person. Let it become your identity. Yes, I ran a marathon, and I didn't sweat it. It was nothing to me. Don't be humble about that shit. Yes, I made 10K this month, and the month isn't over. That was nothing to me. You know, I could make 10K this month. I wouldn't care. I literally wouldn't care. It wouldn't make no difference than the 1K I'm earning from my job right now. It wouldn't make no difference to me. It's all a state of mind. You know, you understand? So, but yeah, you know, the most dangerous mindset is genuinely comfort though. Like I said, I mean, people live comfortable lives and they think that, you know, that's a misconception that the average person has, which is that they believe the goal in life is to get to a point where you are just comfortable. I don't believe in ever being comfortable. Obviously, eventually one day you want to settle down, right? You want to have a family, you want to have kids, maybe you want to live off the what do they call it, off the grid or something like that. You know, you want to have a plot of land, maybe you want to live on a ranch or something. Cool. But you always want to be improving your life or someone else's life regardless. Okay, now, living in comfort it's going to make it harder to do that. You don't want to put yourself in that scenario, okay, willingly anyway. You always want to be going through something that you'll become better at the end of it. It's a journey. The whole life is a journey. Don't think, oh, just because you have kids now, you got to put a pause on your own life. No. You understand? So yeah. Yeah, the third one we have here, the gap between where you are right now and what's possible. There's always someone sharper and more disciplined, more informed. That's not discouraging. Okay, you shouldn't be discouraged by that. It's rather more freeing. The gap is proof that there's room to evolve. That's very true. That's a mindset I've ingrained in myself from as long as I can remember. You know, just from being a kid and just being curious. You know, you learn of the word doppelganger. You know, I always thought to myself, imagine there's probably someone out there who looks similar to me, who has similar aspirations and goals and ambitions. You know, who's winning right now, who's winning the war, you know, who's getting closer. Am I slacking? Could I be doing more? You know, you almost build that person in your head, and you want to be going to war with that person. You want to be winning. You want to be waking up before that guy. You want to be, you know, some of you might actually have that physical person. It could be your brother. It could be just someone that's really close to you that you live with or something like that. Maybe you traveled and, you know, you're with killers, you're with people who are really on their shit about, you know, just becoming the best version of themselves and really get into that cake. Cake meaning cash, right? It's very important to be surrounded by people like that, right? But if you're not humble, right, you won't be open to the idea that there are people who are, you know, they're really pushing the limit more than you are. They're pushing those boundaries. They're putting in the work where you're too lazy, where you're not putting in the work, right? You have to be open to the idea that those people are doing what you're not doing. And that's why they said here, it's not discouraging, it's freeing. Because it gives you the idea, okay, this is what I can do to further better improve myself, okay, and get somewhere closer to where they are and overtake them. You get me? There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, ego kills long-term momentum. Ego says, this worked, so I'll repeat it forever. Growth says, this worked, but what breaks next? Staying humble keeps you adaptable in changing environments. See, what I understood about this is sometimes your ego, okay, which is your like animalistic desires, right? you'll get something to work, and see, you know, especially if this is your breakthrough, you'll think to yourself, I've never done this ever before. This is what I need to just rinse and repeat. This is what I have to do until the end of time. No, that's not the case. Okay, the same way that you were open and it allowed you to even receive this medium of success, is the same way you have to be open after receiving it. Okay, you want to be a magnet. See, what a lot of people do is they like to enclose themselves. They close themselves off from reality, from experiences, once they get a taste of what is nice, what is good. No, you want to be a magnet to all these different emotions, all these feelings of just feelings, right? Because this is what will make you who you want to be. You want these experiences. Number 5, here we have, learn like you're unknown even when you're not. Okay, act like no one's watching, praising or validating you. Seek critique more than compliments, and revert to fundamentals regularly. They're timeless for a reason. This is one that I absolutely love. Please, for the love of God, okay, never give a shit about whether whatever you're doing is being seen or watched at all. You should be doing it for your goddamn self. You feel me? Right? You should be doing it for yourself. Okay? You should never be doing it for the praise, for the validation of anyone other than your motherfucking self. Do you understand? That's the most, that should be paramount. That's the only thing that matters for you. Okay? Because at the end of the day, at the end of the night, it's you. It's you. It's you versus you. It's you that's going to have to put in the work. Okay? It's all part of the process. You might be really putting in and hammering work, and listen, that's all good. You need to view how it helps you as well. Okay? It's not always got to be about what someone else is saying. That shit doesn't matter. You don't know what someone else is living, the kind of life they're living, what they're going through, right? But yeah, seek critique more than compliments, man. Because critique will make you feel uncomfortable. Critique will outline where you're not doing so well, and it will give you room to iron out your mistakes, iron out whatever's not too, you know, what's not running too well in your life, and things that you should be doing better. Okay, things that you didn't see. That's why critique is good, because it comes from another perspective, another point of view. You can only come up with so many perspectives and points of view. That's something I've actually improved within my own life, actually. Is whenever I'm doing this self-talk, like self-talk to myself, right, off camera, I'm always thinking of different ways to look at every scenario, even perspectives and points of views that go against my own nature, my own desires, and just trying to just go and think so deeply about different scenarios and situations. It helps so much. It helps with your growth so much. But yeah, revert to fundamentals, okay? Because you should have your non-negotiables. I don't even need to spend too much time on that, okay? My closing anchor thought is, humility isn't about doubting yourself. It's about respecting the scale of what you don't yet know. Stay grounded, stay curious, and you'll never outgrow your future. You'll never outgrow your future, right? Humility definitely is not about doubting yourself. That's kind of what I was saying towards the mid part of the video, you know, about how a lot of people look at the word humility. You know, humility is a word, a lot of people use it to hold them back. You don't need to be held back by your ability to have humility, right? You should never doubt yourself in general, let alone for the means of being humble. But yeah, it's about respecting, you know, the scale of what you don't know, for definite, right? Being humble can it really just, it's an eye opener. It allows you to be open to the unknown, right? It allows you to be open to the unknown. And yeah, man, it's a good way to grow, is being humble. You know, that you maintain that head on your shoulders, you maintain your ability to be a respected individual. You know, yeah, I have mixed feelings about it because of what society has kind of done to the word, right? And many words, to be honest. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, okay, it's I want you to stay relentless, okay, in the fact that you can always do more. You can always do more and learn more, okay? And there will be points in time, there will be times where you feel as though this is your plateau, or this is a roadblock, you know, or this is the only thing that I need to do that will work for me. All right? But I'm telling you, no, you need to be humble in the way that you think, okay, and understand that actually, no, there's more I can do to benefit my life. There's more I can do to make more money right now. Okay, I need to think outside of the box. I need to go and actually, you know, dive into the deep end. I need to feel uncomfortable. I might be winning right now, but how can I be humble enough in this winning season to say to myself, how can I put myself into an uncomfortable scenario, in an uncomfortable situation, so that I just fucking, you know, they say iron sharpens iron. How can you put yourself into a situation where you're just sharpening yourself? Maybe you got a huge advance, you know, you made a lot of money, right? How can you push yourself to make even more? Because a lot of people would sit back and think, let me relax a little bit. No, not you, hopefully not. You know, go spend some crazy money somewhere. You know what I'm trying to say? Go and play with the idea of regret. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Go and experience that, right? So that you'll develop that. Because if you're anything like me and you do something like that, instantly it's, oh, how do I make this money back? I need to make this money back. You know, I want you to be that kind of person, all right? Don't be closed. Don't be tight-fisted as well. If you got it, don't be afraid to spend it. Money comes and goes. I know this video wasn't about that, but I hope you have enjoyed it. Again, you already know what the quote is, you know? Speak once, listen twice. Don't be a fool, and we'll speak soon, gents.